Good morning, everybody. I don't know who's out there, but once again, looking forward to our tax tips first series tonight from an entrepreneur giving golden nuggets. Start off the day, but I always say you plan and God laughs. One of the biggest things we did today is we woke up, we planned on closing on some of our deals, doing some of our paperwork, and all of a sudden, boom! It looks like we're going to get another couple non-performing notes on our first mortgages in. Probably in the Memphis market, which is one of my hot markets, one of my number 2 markets, that in Cleveland. And it meets my portfolio for turnkey rentals, holding a note as the bank. So passive income. So my day switched immediately. And that's one of the things I love about real estate. My day switched immediately from doing what I planned on doing to closing these 2 notes and now calling up some of my joint venture partners and say, who wants to be in this deal with us? Because we have a lot of joint venture partners that reach out, but once we get a deal, we don't have a ton of deals because we don't take on everything. So we have these 2 non-performing first that we're going to be taking down probably in the next week in Memphis. And I'm going to be on the phone speaking with a bunch of joint venture partners, potential partners that want to fund these deals with us. And we'll go through those particular deals with them, and we'll get these things funded. We'll get them. We already did our due diligence up front. My contractors have been out to the house. We already checked on taxes. We already checked on water. We know exactly what our end play is on this one. It's going to be a nice one for us. So we'll be on the phone with some of our joint venture partners. So if you're on Facebook and you see this, the calls will be going out. Like I said, they're not huge deals, but we'll probably lock them both up pretty quick. Also, we've been funding a lot of private money deals, as you know, and we got hit up today for another couple $100,000 to fund, so we'll be doing that as well. So days change. But anyway, my plan today is obviously I have my tax training class tonight. From an entrepreneur's point of view, once again, I'm not an attorney or accountant, CPA, but I'm just going to tell you how I do my business. And once again, you want to verify what I say. You don't want to take what I say as gospel because it works for me. It might not work for you. But one thing I did want to get on here, because I've been getting a lot of questions, believe it or not, about self-directed IRAs, solo 401ks. I mean, I've been getting a ton of that stuff. But what I do get a lot of questions on, and I'm shocked that people don't really know what a 1031 exchange is and how it works. Okay, so I just wanted to give some feedback on how a 1031 exchange works on the grand scope overhaul of the business. What a 1031 exchange is you're exchanging a like-kind property. Okay, so if you sell a house, an investment property, the IRS really looks down on anything you own less than 2 years. Anything under a year, they're slapping it right down. My intermediaries giving me case study after case study of things that have been slapped down. So you want to hold that property at least a year. So if you have a closing coming up and the property's in your name 10 months, try to push it out to at least 366 days. It'll be a lot easier for you. They really like to see 2 years or more, but just keep that in mind. There's no hard written rule either way. But that's what's going on. So it's one of those things. It's like taking all these deductions. You're allowed to take them, but if they're unreasonable, you might draw red flags. Okay. So what is a qualified intermediary? It does not mean it's not determined by the IRS. So you got to be real careful about that. It's not like a self-directed IRA. And I had somebody else call me yesterday about a self-directed IRA, and they said, "Well, I don't trust them. There's fraud and stuff like that." The problem with intermediaries is they are not determined by the IRS, and they don't have to be qualified to know what they'll be doing. To be qualified, they basically just have to be somebody other than family, your agent, member of your family, someone independent. They're not licensed, registered, regulated, monitored, or audited. So there's really no actual qualifications for this position. And the reason I say that is, well, they're usually like an LLC company. So there's really not much in liability involved either. So you got to be buyer beware, be very careful. And the reason I say that is because in November 2008, Land America 1031 Exchange Services, they filed for bankruptcy protection. I believe they lost about $450 million of taxpayer money. Okay, $450 million of taxpayer money. Okay, you look that up, that's fact. They were the biggest 1031 exchange intermediary at the time, okay? Land America. What happens is 1031 intermediaries, they're allowed to use that money in their own deals, okay, and then pay you when you get. It's almost like, to me, it almost seems like a Ponzi scheme. They'll use the money you give them. They'll make a couple percent interest on it. They'll turn around, they'll fund your deals and pay you, and rob Peter to pay Paul. So what I'm saying is, you just got to be really careful, okay? You got to be really careful on who you deal with, okay? Great friend and mentor to me, Vin Polisi. If you got a chance to watch him, watch his stuff. He's taught me a lot, just in business general. I've always been very trusting. And when you start really peeling back the banana, you start realizing that a lot of people are just puppets out there, and they tell you what you want to hear, or they tell you what they heard. And he's taught me to really challenge myself and do due diligence, extreme due diligence on anything he says or anybody says. And it's changed my business a lot. And, I've been not subject to any kind of issues with the 1031 where I've probably done 50 to 60 1031 exchanges already in my business. And I'm going to tell you the benefits of them. But I've done them without even due diligence on the company. Man, did I get lucky. So, did I do stuff stupid? Yes, I did. Did I get lucky? Yes, I did. Could I have got burnt? Absolutely. I mean, I've heard of Land America 1031 exchange services, and I just didn't use them because I had somebody else. But I would have, knowing they were the biggest. They couldn't do anything wrong. Well, what happened is they were actually, like I said, they were investing the money in different products, and they couldn't fund deals. And then what happens is they went bankrupt. So $450 million weren't paid to their investors, or I should say, people that kept their money in their intermediary account. And the bankruptcy court did not release any money. So can you imagine that you have a deal that you're supposed to close on, you sold one property, the money doesn't go to you, goes into the intermediary. Now you go to close on another deal and the money's not there, and that most certainly could happen. So how do you protect yourself on this? Oh my God. There's a couple ways. I would say make sure that your funds are held in an FDIC-insured financial institution covered by the FDIC insurance limits. That's one. You want to hold, I'm just thinking right now the best way, you want to hold that money in an account for your benefit, okay? Qualified escrow account or qualified trust account. Now, qualified escrow account express limits to your right to receive, pledge, or borrow or obtain any benefits from the funds. And I'm reading this, actually, the rule. Nothing can be done unless you sign off on that, okay? A third-party escrow agreement. A third-party escrow holder is held in the case the qualified escrow account or trustee in the case of a qualified trust account. You need any money that comes out, you want written authorization for a withdrawal. Okay? That way and here's what and I'm sorry I'm going off on a tangent on this one, but it's so important because, man, I put myself at such risk doing 50, 60 of these. But here's the benefits of a 1031 exchange. You can make capital gains on a property, and as long as you isolate a property within 45 days and close within 6 months, you do not pay any capital gains on that up front. You defer that. Now think how powerful this really is. Let's back up a little bit. Let's say you buy a property from, to make it really easy, $100,000. You put $40,000 into it, all in, closing cost, everything, $140,000. You sell that property for $200,000. That's a $60,000 capital gain. If you're in let's say a 40% bracket, you're talking about a $24,000 tax bill. Okay? So really, you only made $36,000. By doing a 1031 exchange, you roll that $200,000 now into another property. Now you roll in for $200,000. Now you make another 30% on that $200,000. You just made another $60,000. This money is being deferred out on capital gains over time. Now, eventually, if you're not smart about your tax planning, you might have to pay tax on that money a lot later, probably a lot less, because your tax bracket might be different when you finalize this deal out. But the biggest rules on 1031 exchanges, one is now anything I do, I'll do with an attorney that I know that has an escrow account on this. Two is you do not touch the money. When you sell a property, you buy it in your 1031 exchange intermediary's name. He funds the deal. When you sell a property, the money goes to his escrow account. When you fund, you do the same thing. The money does not come from you personally. It's similar to working with a self-declared IRA. So what you want to do is you want to just make sure the intermediary is checked out. Do things the way I said. It's FDIC insured. You want a third-party escrow agreement. And you want to make sure that you check out the company you're working with or check out who you're working with. Because I said, if I would have used who I was told to use back then, I would have probably lost, I would have been part of that $450 million funds lost. And that would have wrecked me back then. I didn't do things the right way because I didn't know. And doing due diligence is part of the business and really what you should do. So anyway, I know this was started off a little differently because I wanted to talk today. I know later on tonight I'm talking a little bit about some of my tax strategies, and I'm not going to talk about them all on one call. I'm going to cover a few of them so you guys can digest them, look into them, and in a couple weeks we'll do another call, just so I can give you my information from an investor point of view. But you want to do your due diligence, and you want to really look at the benefits of 1031 exchanges, investing with your self-directed IRA, solo 401k, health savings account, Coverdell account, any of those accounts that are either tax-deferred, tax-free, and we'll get more into conversations about the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, investing with those, what you can invest in, what you can't invest in, and the benefits of those. But start thinking a little different. Why I do these videos is I just want people to think a little different about their business. Understand that there's ways to buy or invest, buy properties, invest in mortgage notes, be the bank, lend privately to investors like us with your self-directed IRA, 401ks, Coverdells, health savings accounts, equity, cash, whatever it might be, and it benefits you and you protect yourself. There's ways to protect yourself to mitigate the risk. There's never 100% risk-free. Once again, I always say if somebody tells you it's risk-free, run, don't walk. So, with all that, have a great day. I'm going to be busy on the phone, busy working. I'm going to be looking for seller sold properties today. I'm going to be doing my 10-minute task. Anyone that knows what that is knows what I'm going to be doing. I have a lot on my plate today. Didn't plan it that way, but that's what I love about the business. To me, it's just generating wealth, creating wealth for long-term passive gains, passive wealth, I should say. But anyway, have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.